1, 2,
3,
4,
5.
5, 6.
And me? I say
My name is Raul Gonzalez, and I'm going to do a speech on the day my daughter was born. The day my daughter was born was the happiest day of my life. The day started off because my wife had an appointment at 10:30 in the morning to have a C-section. The reason she was going to have a C-section was because the baby was too big. The baby was going to weigh over 9 pounds. Therefore, the baby was not going to be able to be born naturally. When we arrived at the hospital, I remember going into a room and putting on the scrubs, the blue scrubs, and putting on slippers, and I was very happy because my daughter was going to be born that day. I remember then pulling my wife away into the operating room to be operated, and I was going to be in there. I remember when I first arrived in the operating room, the doctor told me that I couldn't start taking pictures until they told me to. As soon as they started operating my wife and I started seeing my daughter coming out of my wife's body, the doctor told me I could start taking pictures. As soon as they said that, I started taking a lot of pictures. I have some pictures here so y'all can see them. My daughter was full of white grease when she was being pulled out of my wife's stomach. I remember holding my daughter for the very first time right here. This is a picture where she was already born. This is when we took her out to the waiting room. I remember taking my daughter out to the waiting room. I remember after we took her to the waiting room, we took her to a room to get her fingerprints, and the nurses put her fingerprints on my scrubs. Everybody was so happy. All my family was looking through the mirror, waving, smiling, and taking pictures. I remember my dad had his big old video camera videotaping everything. That was the happiest day of my life. I remember when we got a room upstairs in the nursery, my wife had a lot of visitors bringing her balloons and gifts. She had a lot of visitors and everybody came and welcomed my daughter. Overall, that was the happiest day of my life. Seeing my daughter born. I remember when she was crying all night long for the very first time. I knew that reality had set in, that I was going to be a dad and things were going to be different. That was the happiest day of my life.